Hey everyone, my name is Jeremy Caverley, and I want to tell you about my time at Godtel Ministries, the homeless shelter there in Lufkin, Texas. This is the year 2000. I was just 19 years of age. Eventually, this story made the Lufkin Daily News in that year. But let me tell you about what happened. This is my testimony. I'm a survivor of domestic violence, and I became homeless because of my situation. My stepdad assaulted me, and I ended up in the emergency room that night. Well, after, being checked out and things happen like that, I pull out my wallet and there was a piece of paper on it, and it was my friend Debbie Reed, and it's in the middle of the night. It's like 3 a.m, and I call her and said, "Hey, I need help." Her kids went to school with me, so we had a good relationship. She was like the mother I never had. And from there, she told me that someone that was in the hospital that night working several floors up, and we discussed it for a bit and found out that they'll come down and see me near the end of their shift. So this person shows up, and we end up having our dialogue. I go up to their floor so they can finish checking out for the day. And then we went to her house. From her house, we ended up going to what I would find out later on was Gloria Russell Children Ministries, and that's where I would see Debbie Reed in person again. We prayed. I was exhausted. I had no sleep that night. And then I finally took a nap because there was a cot in the back room. While I was sleeping, Debbie and her friends made calls and eventually set me up for intake to Godtel Ministries. So after some lunch, I got picked up and we went over there and I started my journey into Godtel. It was here where I first met Martin. He helped me pick out some clothes, and I only had the stuff that was on I wore. Everything else, I didn't know what was going to happen with my prior belongings. I lost everything at that point. And I also had no idea what God was going to do. So I was at Godtel from January to June. And each month I learned more of what God was doing in my life, how to be a man, life skills, things that I didn't have in my current situation. So after some time, I settled in, I learned more about the rules, and I got wired into washing dishes and cleaning things. And later that night, we had our first Bible study, and I found out they had Bible lessons every day, 7 days a week. And it helped me learn about God and grow with the Lord. And I was having Bible studies with other people on the side and dialogue. So during the week, after we eat some donuts or whatever, we would head out and start looking for work. And I had day labor jobs and different things like that. Eventually, I got a job at Casa Ole, the Mexican restaurant there in Lufkin, Texas. And I also, at this point, a little bit later on, I was planning on a missionary evangelistic work with plans to go to South Africa and plans to do an internship later. So let's fast forward now, 23 years later, this year, 2023. I am a U.S. Coast Guard veteran. I'm a college graduate of the Ohio University. I was involved with the vice president of student senate. I got voted into that. I got voted into being the college Republicans president. And now I live in Columbus, Ohio. I have my wife and my dog and my cat. We have our own ministry called James Ministries. And I have to tell you, with the sense of urgency, I recommend for those that are in need, that need shelter and help or a meal, go to Godtel. Or how about you volunteer or donate and help Godtel? Why? Because Godtel made a difference in my life. It transformed my life from the inside out. Godtel is not a handout. It is a hand up with Bible studies and life training and counseling and capability, and moves you to a place to set you on a journey back into society. Please think about donating and volunteering for Godtel. Or if you are in need and you need a place to stay in Lufkin, Nacogdoches, or Huntsville, please, Livingston, Huntsville area, please contact Godtel. God bless.